Brackeys GameJam 2024.2. 7 days of time to make a playable game fitting the theme, the calm before the storm. As usual for game jams, I pretty much skipped the planning. The idea for my game Unleash the Storm was for the player to place cards, unleashing a mighty storm onto the self-developing village. I decided to only use 5 of the 7 days, therefore completing this project was not an easy task. I have never developed a card game, but I've played a few such as Hearthstone. The cards are a bunch of UI elements in my game in one container. If I didn't want animations for them, I could have used the horizontal box component to automatically align them, but like this I had to space them out myself. It was pretty straightforward, but it wasn't until the end when I fixed some canvas scaling issues. Either way, I made some placeholder art and abilities. At this point, whenever you placed a card, it would instantiate the corresponding effect object, which then deals damage or whatever. I added more spells such as Second Hand, which allows you to draw additional cards, as well as the other effects. This one is activated by instantiating another object, which is very inefficient since there's no need to instantiate an object in a case like this one. Either way, with the first cards done, I wanted something to destroy. My plan since the beginning was to have a sort of realistic village. I wanted a village which takes care of the needs of the civilization while also adapting to the current effect conditions. I created the values people, burning buildings, living space, food and fun to represent the village's need, and the buildings small house, big house, church, fire department, fields, playground and swimming pool to meet their needs. I also introduced priority multipliers, which basically define which needs need to be met first. For example, people barely care about fun if they are starving. Then I could write a function which calculates the needs based on the people, compared them to the available resources and figured out which building was the most efficient to build. Furthermore, access priority multipliers were necessary to define which buildings should be preferred when all needs are already met, together with a maximum access capacity, after which random ones are placed. When living space and nutrition needs are met, new people move in. When they're not met, people move out or die, which will then be used for the win condition. With the village done for the moment, I implemented the first card effects, Fireball and Lightning. Fireball ignites a building of which the fire slowly spreads to adjacent ones. Lightning does pretty much the same, but the charge only lasts 1 round. Each turn, fire and lightning deal damage until they destroy their host. On that evening, I also started working on the first improved visuals. When I came up with the idea of the game, I knew that I wanted a real-life hand-drawn art style like the one in Leadership, which I made for Brackeys Jam 2 years ago. I wrote down what I thought I needed and started working. Instead of using colored pencils like I used for that other game, I used Ohu alcohol-based markers, if you're wondering. I implemented the art in the game. By then I had only finished effect cards, but I got already a rough idea of what it was about to look like, and I was rather pleased with it. At this point in time, I had to add more card effects and building effects. I wanted to refactor this mechanic to make scaling a lot easier. I already used scriptable objects for the buildings to store the resources they offer to villagers. Basically, scriptable objects are scripts, but instead of attaching them to game objects, you can create a new object in the assets folder. Once I realized that you could have executable code in scriptable objects, I made an interface for building abilities with an activate function. Like this, I could easily create and add new abilities to the scriptable object, which previously wasn't possible, since you can't assign mono behaviors, which most scripts in Unity are, to objects in the asset folder. With this, I applied extinguish abilities to the fire station and swimming pool, and I could easily add more. I did similar refactoring for the effect cards, which makes adding new ones a lot easier and drastically improved performance for abilities which do not require visuals. With that improved and more spells, I implemented the visuals for the buildings and made some additional animations for the effects. I really enjoyed animating the real-life drawings by combining them with lights, scale changes and particles. And the buildings were improved with effects too. Instead of just recoloring them based on their status, I gave them small fire and lightning animations, which improved the visuals a lot. With the final visuals done, I quickly, well, it actually took me most last day available, added sounds, a guide and title screen overlay since I didn't have time to make an actual menu screen. I gave the player a restart button and some other quality of life features, and with that it was done. There's a lot that could still be done, such as creatures, powerballs connecting the buildings, more lights, cards and buildings, and further balancing, but either way, I'm quite content with the result. Initially, I thought I completely overscoped, but looking back at the idea, it was actually in scope. As always, you can play the game with the link badpaddy.itch.io/unleash-the-storm, which you can also find in the description. Also, if you win, you receive a special victory card, which also crashes everything at some point, and I didn't have time to fix that yet. Either way, let me know what you think about it, and don't hesitate to let me know any improvements for this project, this video, or whatever comes to mind in the comments. See you next time. Bye!